It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hello, welcome to the Geno Jones Show. Thank you for tuning in as we get ready for a brand new year. Not just a brand new year, but a brand new decade. Can you believe 2020? It was just 1999. I remember 1999. Everybody was scared. They thought the world was coming to an end. Computers were going to crash and things were going to blow up and trains wouldn't work and you couldn't get money out of the ATM machine and your wife wasn't going to make love to you. Well, maybe that had nothing to do with 1999. I think I'm just venting. Maybe this is a little therapy for me. So this year, 2019, was an incredible year in entertainment and so many other areas. Speaking of entertainers, congratulations to Lizzo, Time Magazine's Entertainer of the Year. The sister said the truth hurts and I got the juice. And the sister also did her thing. As a matter of fact, speaking of other awards, I hear the iconic Gentlemen's Club in Atlanta, Magic City, named Lizzo Entertainer of the Year. You go, girl. Gonna make it rain one time for Sister Lizzo if you see her. I'm just saying. That's what Magic City said. And she also broke the internet. You've probably seen the video. She was at a Los Angeles Lakers game, and the Lakers cheerleaders heard that song, The Juice. They did a routine to The Juice. Man, and Lizzo heard that. Oh, speaking of the juice, I don't know what juice she had in that cup, but whatever it was. She said, wait a minute, let me drop it like it's hot. Now, there's been a lot of commentary back and forth. Some folks loved it. Some folks said, not when the children are watching. You can't do that in front of the kiddies. Lizzo said, look, don't get mad at me. You didn't get mad at Prince when he had his ass out in them jeans way back in the 90s. So don't get mad at a sister, cuz I got the juice. Yeah, she got the juice and a whole lot more. Speaking of sisters, Senator Kamala Harris, unfortunately, had to drop out of the presidential race for 2020. I was kind of rooting for the sister Kamala out there in California. She said she ran out of money. Kamala, you should have called Popeye's Chicken, told them to sponsor you with some of those chicken sandwiches. Do you know the line? They would have been lined up to get the chicken sandwiches. As a matter of fact, come back in the campaign. Here's your campaign slogan. If you vote for me, I'll have a chicken sandwich in every kitchen in America. You'll win by a landslide. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's the Geno Jones Show. Welcome back to the Geno Jones Show. So we have come to the end of not just another year, another decade. So sitting here with me is a dear friend of mine. We got to do a DNA check because we may be related.
Yeah.
In real life, we work together. This guy's a radio, TV. He's a media legend and icon in the country. My good friend. I won't embarrass him anymore. I'll just say thank you and welcome to TJ Phillips.
Hey, bud.
My brother by another month.
Good to see you, man.
I've been looking forward to this because he and I, we admire each other's work professionally, but he's one of the most talented people that I've ever heard on media, but he's an even better person, and he didn't pay me to say that.
Yeah, well, hell, I'll pay you
okay,
now.
Yeah,
all right, here we go.
Listen, I still got a few Christmas gifts to buy,
okay,
so I'll take the money.
Let's do it.
So we have come to another year, the end of another year, and the end of another decade. I can't believe it. So let's get into it. This is our year-end review or year-end in review. So for you, TJ, what was some of the biggest stories for you, 2019?
I think in the United States, probably all of the refugee, the way that our country has changed.
Oh yeah.
Our philosophy. I mean, it just feels like a different. Yeah. I don't know what happened to the country I live in. That to me was just huge. We got to fix it. We'll see. In the world, I think Brexit has been huge, and that's happening. So we'll see, and it all ties to that same nationalism.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's going
a lot
on.
of similarities.
A lot
in terms of ironically, we are a nation of immigrants. Everyone except Native Americans, all of us, no matter what our ethnicity is. And at one time or another, you go back to the 1800s, be it the Chinese or the Irish that came over, or the Italians that came over, the Germans that came over, the Jewish community that came over. At one time, they were looked at as the other.
Everybody took their turn on the bottom.
Exactly.
You know, and as they improved economically, that allowed them to step up.
Right.
And then they could look down on somebody.
Which is so weird.
It is.
Help me understand that, TJ.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've wondered that, how is it, because there's a common thread, especially here in America. I don't care, African American, if you're Jewish, if you're German ancestry, Irish, Italian, Chinese, like you said, there was a time to when those ancestors from any one of those groups were looked at as the other.
Yeah.
Or we don't want you, or you're less than. You referred to in a real negative way.
Right.
You were vermin and trash and less than human.
Right.
So it's amazing that how, if you were viewed that way, and if you were discriminated against because of your ethnicity, where you came from, then how, once that ended for you, how could you then turn around and treat another group the same way that you were treated?
Only thing I can figure is it's people saying, okay, it's my turn. All right, now, to prove that I am what I am, I need to make them look less than me.
God,
it's part of that process. They always made me look bad, so now it's my turn.
Right. But the people you're looking down at didn't oppress you.
No.
So the people who you are now looking at as less than, they were not the ones that were looking at you as less than.
Yeah, it's I guess it's human nature. I've always been told and accepted the fact that humans fear what they don't know.
That's true.
What they don't understand. So I don't understand you, and I don't understand where you came from and how you got here. So you have to have something going on, because I'm not going anywhere, but you are. So what are you doing that should be mine? It's like, I don't understand. So I think that has a lot to do with attitudes that this country seems to be wallowing in right now, and it just drives me absolutely nuts to every day see what. And I don't want to dwell on the politics, but Syria was a huge thing, and the way those people were treated, it killed me to watch those people trying to get out of Syria and washing up on the beaches, and nobody wanting them in, and it goes back to, nobody wanted the Jews either.
Right.
They were blocked at the border and sent back to wherever and all that.
Here in America,
it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and here in America, nobody, like I said, in the mid-late 1800s, nobody wanted the Chinese immigrants. They
had to have them because they're the only ones that would work to build the railroads.
But then they couldn't marry. It was just all kind of weird stuff. But then they didn't want the Irish coming over. You had the potato family. You didn't want the Italians, and then how they were stereotyped, and like everybody in the Italians were in the mafia, or the Irish, or they all had their names. Everybody we all had these labels.
Yeah.
Same for German immigrants,
right?
Jewish immigrants, and then African Americans. Of course, I don't even need to explain our history here, but it's a shared history, and it's amazing how that we collectively can't look at each other and say, listen, you know what? We were all, kind of treated like crap, and somebody looked down at us. So,
well, I think a lot of that's lack of education.
Oh, that's huge.
I think that's the foundation for all this stuff, is that we're not taught what really happened.
No.
We're taught what somebody wants us to learn and stay in that lane and let it go. I grew up in East Tennessee, up in the mountains. And I'm a very small minority population up there, and what was there was either Cherokee Indian or black. And I've never experienced a racial problem. I didn't know there was a lot of difference. I grew up with a lady who lived in the house with us, and she was mom to us because my mom and dad were always gone. He was a doctor and they were always gone. So I was raised by my grandmother and by a black woman who took me to church with her and fed me that snake. You know, it was
Snake.
we had snake one day, and she made me eat it.
What kind of snake was it?
I don't know. I was little. I didn't want it, but she made me eat it, and it wasn't that bad.
Well, my grandmother, you would have been eating catfish.
Catfish.
Or some fried chicken and some collard greens and some cornbread.
But I didn't realize there were racial problems in my world. I saw it on TV. Mm-hmm. I watched the 60s on TV. But I didn't see any of it in my world, you know. So it wasn't that big a deal in my head. Once I got to the Army, that's where I first had it force-fed on me.
In the Army,
which is Army.
Crazy.
Because they were trying to find how they could take all the black soldiers and all the white soldiers and make them live together as one. And
you're fighting under one flag, supposedly for one nation, under God, indivisible, so liberty and justice for all of that.
Well, you know, that's a different lesson.
I got right. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes.
But we, you know, so they said, okay, we're going to move you out of this apartment and we're going to move you, white guy, into this apartment with these two black guys, and we'll take that black guy and put him over here with these two white guys, and you guys are going to learn how each other lives and breathes and thinks, and then you'll all be friends. Well, it doesn't happen that way because none of us understand where the other came from. And I didn't. And
society had kind of brainwashed you, not in your case, like you said, because you were able to grow up in somewhat of a diverse community. You weren't even using the term diverse.
No, it was
at the time.
Yeah.
But still, you grew up in an environment where you were exposed to a black woman, like you said, Native Americans. But society had brainwashed, like all of us, to fear and see each other as a threat.
Yeah.
And especially as African Americans, like that. Oh no, black folks, they're like the ultimate threat, and that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show.
Yeah.
So my hope is, I look at young people. I got my youngest daughter's 18. Then I got one that's right around 30, and you still see some of the hate and the bigotry among that generation. But I see more tolerance. Not just in terms of racial tolerance, gender tolerance, in terms of sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Just an overall tolerance. Like, what are y'all tripping about?
The sooner people like me are gone, the sooner those people can take over. You know what I mean?
You said that. I didn't say that.
I'm just saying.
We're kind of in the same, you know, we're in the same demographic.
We are, but you know, it's. I honestly have.
No, I'm with you. Now we're joking, but I absolutely agree with you, and it's a shame that a lot of this hate is going to just have to die.
It'll have to die because you're not going to change the people with money and power. They're not going to let go of it, and the only way they can maintain it is to continue believing and thinking and acting the way they have been.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you had a great 2019. I want to leave you with these words. Listen, nobody can beat you being the best version of yourself. In 2020, don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to believe in yourself. You know, we'll bet that our boss will give us a promotion or a raise, or we'll bet that the company will keep us around and make sure that they don't ship our job to South Korea or Taiwan. Why don't we bet on ourselves? Don't be afraid to bet on yourself. They say in Las Vegas, always bet on black, even though I don't gamble. But I say in life, always bet on you, because nobody in my Spike Lee voice, I forgot the movie where it is, nobody can beat you being the best version of you. So don't be afraid to be great. Don't be afraid to bet on yourself. All right, somebody else's perception, don't let it become your reality. Nobody knows what's inside of you. Nobody knows what makes you tick. Nobody knows what inspires and lights that fire of passion. Nobody knows what the purpose that you have in life, who and what wakes you up every morning. All right, get in contact, get in touch. They say get in touch with your feelings, get in touch with that feeling, and go and be the best version of you. As they say, living your best life. I ain't going back and forth with, okay, none of y'all. 2020. Have a great year. Thanks. We'll see you in 2020 for another episode of The Geno Jones Show. Like my page on YouTube, The Geno Jones Show. Facebook, Geno Jones and Geno Jones Live, Live. Instagram, Geno Jones Show. I'll holla.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.